Hi, I'm Angela Williams. Thank you so much for tuning in to Voice Up for the Voiceless. We're a podcast that deals with the issue of child sexual abuse and exploitation.
And I am Christa Marshall, and thank you so much for being here with us today. We have an episode today that we're going to be talking about regarding actually, if you can't tell, the holidays. So we are excited to kind of get into this and help you all deal with some of the pressures and issues that come along with the holiday season.
Well, and I think the holiday season is especially hard for survivors because sometimes you're going back home. You may be going into the place where the abuse happened.
Yeah.
You may be seeing the abuser, which is tremendously hard. And some families have some chaos going on, some drama, some dysfunction.
Yeah.
And so you're having to navigate all that. And especially if you're in a season of healing where you're trying to find your peace, trying to become stable.
Yes.
And you go into chaos, sometimes that can steal your peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I really want to talk about today is the holidays and how hard they can be, but also finding belonging and connection without losing yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's really important, and losing the progress that you've made in healing.
Yeah.
So
and also throwing in a couple of tips like grounding techniques and boundaries and different things, practical things that we can do in order to not let it overtake us or overwhelm us during this time. So,
and a place too that you can feel safe and that you can feel seen. And not disregarded. And so we're just going to dive in. I think this is going to be a real kind of practical coaching, how we're going to navigate the holidays together in a more healthy way.
Yes, in your beautiful Christmas red.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And lipstick.
Yeah, you didn't get the memo.
I did not.
So y'all can tell, Krista's always very stylish and very monochromatic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, now I have to get a red sweater because it looks so good.
Thank you. Yeah. This is my Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right in. Yeah.
So I love this. You can honor your need for connection without sacrificing your safety, your sanity, or your soul.
Wow.
Because let's really, especially if the sexual abuse happened within your family, if it was a family member, an uncle, a grandfather, a stepfather, even a brother. I mean, if the sexual abuse happened within your family, that really shakes up the family dynamic.
It does.
Because really most families, and I talk from experience of having ministered to thousands of survivors over my career, most survivors are even told that we're just going to keep this silent. We're just going to sweep this under the rug and we're going to act like it didn't happen because our family reputation, our family togetherness is more important than your pain and what you went through. Wow. And I'm sure you've heard that.
Yeah, completely. It's just hard to just really swallow when you hear it just that blunt.
Yeah.
You know, because you're like,
you know me, I don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, no.
It's real.
But that's what that's what
I was called to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree. And you see it all the time. And even if you don't see the dysfunction externally in the family, it's all internal. Everybody's feeling the same thing. It's like, again, like having the elephant.
Undercurrent.
Yeah, like the elephant's in the room and nobody's acting like this big, huge pink elephant isn't sitting here.
As a survivor, they're like a duck. They're paddling so hard to feel safe and sane, and they have to look like they're just gliding, like they're like nothing happened. Oh, it's all good.
Absolutely.
Everybody's good. I'm good.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Yeah, you're not.
So hopefully we can give you some practical things. So tell us why holidays feel so big, Christa. Like why?
I think that, for sure, holidays are going to feel big because there's just so much going on. Let's just be honest. Like outside of us, what is our environment bringing? It's bringing a lot of, you're responsible for this and gift giving and happiness and joy. And you're seeing all of this stuff all around you. Like everybody's smiling and happy. And then these dang movies that you love, the Hallmark movies, like that even brings a little bit of a pressure sometimes. If
inflates
that's not
the expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, even me, I'm like, oh, what gift did you get me today? And my husband's like, why should I get you a gift? I'm like, well, it's the 12th of December. What is that? It's December. We can make up whatever we want in our mind to be something because of what we see. And so that can bring such a pressure too, especially if that's not what you really live into.
And I have to kind of admit, I have always made holidays really big.
And
for a lot of reasons. I think for what I felt like I lost as a child.
Yeah.
kind of that innocence. Because I love Christmas. I love Jesus's birth. I love everything about Christmas. I love the decorations. I love the Christmas pageants. Yeah. But I have always made it really big and really stressful for my family in our home. I have. For probably 20 years, on Christmas Eve, I would have a Christmas brunch for everybody that I knew. I opened it up to the whole neighborhood, all of our church family, all my kids' friends, like everybody was invited. Yep. This thing grew and grew and grew over the years until people would come and they would bring their extended family that were visiting. They would leave the extended family at our house. They'd be like, oh, no, you got to take them with you. They can't stay. And we'd like 2:00, we'd be wanting to go to Christmas Eve services at 3:00, and people are still socializing. It's like, okay, we want to have our Christmas Eve now. Time to go. To the point where the year we stopped when my son was 18. The year we stopped, we just felt like it was a season and it was time to stop. And then we knew we were going to get ready to move. But people were still showed up. Like we'd no invitations. No, they were still at the door wanting Christmas Eve brunch. But, but it was a beautiful memory and all the craziness. And of course I became a mad woman trying to get everything together and get ready at, 10:00 for people to start showing up.
But, so what time did you get up to start that?
I probably didn't even sleep that night.
Yeah, you have to. But also too, there's nothing wrong with that too.
No,
because we've talked in episodes past, like redeeming the time and setting up. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's so important to still enjoy. Yeah. Like I really love holidays too. Like I love all of the little things that are associated with it. It can bring a level of stress though, honestly.
Well, I love, we've said here is it's expectation inflation.
I
like that word.
Yes.
You set the bar so high that you expect so much, and then when you're disappointed, that fall is you fall
hard.
Yeah, but I just want to say there's no perfect family out there. Like there's not. So
there's no exception to that.
No exception to that rule. Absolutely.
So time travel, that's another thing that can bring a lot of stress during the holidays. So you're going a lot of times into familiar places that you've been before, that maybe something's happened. There's going to be familiar people, smells. All of those things can bring a sense and a level of fear, of worry, of whatever your body might respond back to those things.
Well, we've talked on a lot of shows about triggers.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
they can be triggering.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know going back into my mother's home, there were many times where I would just literally have panic attacks at different places in the home that the abuse happened and had to try to overcome that, put on the face and go back to the dinner table. So it's tough.
Oh, yes. And then finally too, we talked a little bit about this, but social pressure. So like being with your family, even if it's unsafe or it is whatever dysfunction is going on, that's what it's supposed to be. Like we've talked about that before. Like this is what families do during the holidays. So you do that, whether it's safe or unsafe. So, yeah.
Well, and I kind of feel like too that we want to compare ourselves. And someone told me one time, comparison is the thief of joy. So you can't compare to the perfect families you see on Facebook or on TV. You can't compare. You have to make the best of what we have, I think loneliness can show up too during the holidays, and it can show up in two ways. On the outside, where you don't get invitations or, plans fall through. And then on the inside, where you're surrounded by people, but you still feel very lonely because you don't feel understood or you don't feel like you can walk in your truth. And that's how I felt. I would attend the functions and I would be there, but I would feel very alone. It's like there was no one there that I really could share how I was feeling. And even I feel like maybe there was people. I could have pulled a cousin aside or someone and said, hey, can you kind of hold me up? I'm hurting or something. But I didn't feel like I wanted to ruin their holiday or bring down or put a damper on things. So I just kept it all inside. So I think that's kind of my fault. I could have found a safe person maybe in that family crowd that I could have shared I'm struggling with, and they would have been fine. Yeah. But you kind of convince yourself that I'm all alone in this. So
wow.
So I think cousins are the best. I have the best cousins. So maybe you can reach outside, your immediate family and find some safe family that you can confide in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's a great scripture, and it comes from Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That's just a beautiful saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's another interpretation of that scripture, and it talks about how he puts the lowly in families and builds them up from there. So even when you don't have the family that people think that you should have, you still, like, God is putting you into a place. He puts the lonely in families to help heal them.
Wow.
And so that's I love that verse. So, yes.
And I think that we need to come from a lower kind of the expectation of the perfect family and kind of have a micro belonging. And I love this. It's speak to yourself, I matter. I'm not alone. I'm not by myself. God is with me.
And then something that you can kind of do, a couple of tools, a couple of things that you can do is send a message, thinking of you today, no need to respond now. And that's out for others that I think would be something that you can do to help those that are even possibly going through something that's going on. And so to be a support system is very important in times like this. And I think that it's so important for us to look outside and outwardly, even if you have gone through abuse or gone through something, make it be about somebody else in this time. And so sending those messages or sending those texts is something that you can do to help out.
I think too, having a partner, like I said, like reach out ahead of time. I'm coming to this family function. You know, there's a lot going on in our family. I'm going to need you for support. Yeah. Can I kind of lean on you during the function or during, Christmas dinner?
And it sets the other person up for the expectation of being there for you too. So, walking and listening is another way that you can support another person. If you need to take a walk. So sometimes it might get a little heated. You might be dealing with a trigger. Step away. You don't have to sit there and deal with it. Step away. Get your person that you can kind of hang out with and just go take a walk.
And then I love this one. If you're alone during the holidays, just create some rituals for yourself. Like make yourself a nice warm drink every day, preferably non-alcoholic, but at a certain time of day, and just look forward to that. Yesterday I had I didn't make it for the specials, the coffee specials at Starbucks with the red. They were all sold out. Wow. But I got a caramel macchiato. I can't even pronounce it. Macchiato. Yeah. It was so good. It's like, I could do one of these every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably wouldn't want the calorie
I actually
count.
went and got, and I'm not a Starbucks person. I don't know, but I got a tea from there yesterday.
Oh, did you?
And I was just sipping it, and I was just happy. Like it just made my whole heart happy. That little tea. So yeah.
I love the front porch hello. It's nice if we just connect with our neighbors. You just don't know what's happening next door. People could be lonely too, and you can connect with them, but just saying hi and just a smile.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. That is definitely true. And then volunteer.
Yeah.
So volunteer a portion of your day to those that are in need. So you can work at a shelter. You can go to see if there's, like you said, a neighbor or somebody that needs something. Like just give your time. Yeah. That helps.
And so many survivors have healed by stepping into ministries that deal with child sexual abuse. And they may go with a heart to help, but they don't even realize that they need healing.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It opens a door for them to say, hey, maybe I'm here for a different reason. But there's so many wonderful ministries that, especially during the holidays, that need help and need someone, and that kind of diminishes your loneliness when you're serving and you're around others.
That is so true. Yes.
So I think to wrap up the loneliness section of this is that you need to know that tell yourself that I need contact and I need care and I need connection. And that's really important. And that connection does not always have to be your immediate family.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. So there's a couple of boundaries that can help in this season when you're around all of these people. A boundary for sure that you want to set is going to be first and foremost making sure that you're protecting yourself in the process of everything. But there's a couple of little things that I want to kind of highlight and that we'll highlight together just to kind of talk about. But again, it's not a punishment for anybody. A boundary is a place of safety. And then it's kind of like it's explained here, like a property line, so love can live. So that's kind of sweet, if you think about it. So like to love yourself, you got to set up a boundary or you got to set up a property line. So I love that. But this is one of the things that I love to when you set a time before you even get there. So, hey, Mom, I'm coming home for Christmas dinner. I'll be there from 2 to 4. Oh, well, how come you can't? Well, that's the time that I have. So I'll see you soon and keep it moving. Like, you don't have to be there all day. You don't have to give something your all. You're all in that. And then topics too, not talking about specific things. So like the example that we have discussed is that I'm not discussing my body, politics, or my past today.
I don't think anybody can talk about politics these days without getting heated.
I know. So I know.
That's a really good boundary to set.
Yeah.
And I love touch. I think to say ahead of time, hugs are okay, but just please ask for permission.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't get caught off guard.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're hurting, it's like, I know sometimes I withdraw and you may even need a hug, but it's good to use your words on what you need. Like tell people what you need right now because they don't know.
They don't know. They don't know.
And we're going to go through some scripts, and I think that it's good to kind of have a plan, and that's kind of what we're talking about. If you know you're going into kind of the lion's den or a place for the holidays, it's like have a plan ahead of time. Yeah. So like Christa just talked about, set boundaries around time, set boundaries around the topics, set boundaries around touch, but also just before you go, here are just some scripts that may help you. One is, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm focusing on peace this year, so I won't be discussing blank, whatever it is. I won't be discussing my abuse. I won't be discussing my healing journey. You know, just set some boundaries ahead of time. And thanks for supporting me in this.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. And then this one is pretty cool too. An at the table redirect. Yes. I love that because, you know, you're sitting around and somebody puts you directly on the spot
when everybody's looking at you.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know how to handle this, but this is pretty cool. It says, I'm not talking about that today. So tell me about you. Tell me about your hobby. Tell me about what's going on with you. So not only are you taking it in, you're saying, I'm not going to talk about this, but how about you tell me about you? So it's not completely shutting off, but it's giving someone an opportunity to tell about themselves too, which is great.
So I love this one. It's the exit line. So have a plan when you get ready to leave that you already have that script in your head. Yeah. And so this one is, I'm getting full of food and conversation. Love ya. I'm heading out now.
Yeah.
So yeah. See ya. Bye.
It's like, okay. And then you're leaving them to deal with their old stuff.
Deal with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Probably talk about you when you close the door, but it's all good.
What does she mean? Yeah. Yeah. So
this is a really good one too, Christa.
Oh, what the coach? Oh,
the broken record.
Yes. Okay. So it says here, if someone pushes your line, use the broken record skill. Calm tone, same sentence, repeat. I'm not discussing that today. If the pressure continues, your boundary, you need like, wait, what does it say? This is
pressure. Your boundary needs teeth, so you need to put some teeth in it.
We were just talking about glasses. That's the issue. I'm like, wait, I can't see that. But yeah, if your boundary needs teeth, you leave, you hang up, or you switch rooms. That's not drama. It's just keeping your dignity.
Yeah. So, and these are great scriptures.
Yeah.
If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. That's Romans 12:18. And then guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That's Proverbs 4:23.
Yeah. Romans 12:18, if possible. So if not possible, it's okay to leave. Yeah. It is okay to leave. So a couple of things that you can do to ground yourself in the moment when you are right there. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. And so one of the ways that you can do this, if you're starting to get overwhelmed and anxious and you're starting to feel all the emotions in your body, what are 5 things you see? What are 4 things you feel? What are 3 things you hear? What are 2 things that you smell? And what's 1 thing that you taste? Then breathe slowly in through your nose for 4. And then out for 6. Yes. So that is something that can definitely help in the times where you're starting to feel all the emotions.
I love this check-in too. It's an acronym. It's called HALT, HALT. And that's just checking in with yourself. So H, you're asking yourself, am I hungry? A, am I angry? L, am I lonely? Or T, am I tired? And make sure those basic needs are met first. And then you can say, okay, I got some food. That feels better. I'm angry. I need to figure out why I'm angry and kind of ask yourself some questions. And then if you're lonely, then reach out for connection, or you can go into prayer, and God is always going to meet you right there where you need him. And then if you're tired, you just need to rest. You just need to check out and leave, or just give yourself time to rest.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the opposite action is if you're spiraling, you need to stand up, drink some water, step outside for a few seconds. Those tiny shifts alleviate the big storm.
Yes.
And if you don't do something in that moment, you're going to spiral, and things are just going to get worse.
Absolutely. A scripture that can kind of back that up is Isaiah 41:10 that says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you." So he's always there.
So, and I love the next day. We've kind of talked about being in those family functions that are dysfunctional, but let's back up and let's say, okay, I'm not going. I'm going to stay home. And that's a hard decision to make. So I really want to talk to those that are choosing to stay home and to really design a day that's just blessed. And there's so many things that you can do. I love a menu. We have a menu for you. It's called the Menu for a Quiet Holiday. And the first thing is a comfort corner. So pick a place in your home that you can cuddle up with a blanket. You can light a candle. You can get your favorite mug. You can read scriptures, but just kind of a safe place that you can kind of snuggle.
I feel like you'd be really good at that, Angela.
I am. I'm good at snuggling.
Yes. Yeah, and then movement too. Stretching while you're listening to worship, or doing something that's going to keep your body just going. I think that's something that we can do too. I feel like the comfort corner would be more kind of a feminine thing, but the movement would probably be more of a masculine way of handling it too.
Yeah, and exercise. You know, you work out a lot of stress with exercising.
Yeah.
And I think during the holidays are such wonderful Christmas music. To just sit and listen to Christmas music can bring you joy. And Christmas movies. We watch a Christmas Carol. Well, there's so many movies that we watch during Christmas. But
yes.
You want to talk about connection?
Yes. So connection. Having a place to call, a FaceTime call or a person to call, and just be on the phone for about 10, 15 minutes just to kind of reconnect. You know, that's something to really be able to do that'll help not feel and breathe that feeling of loneliness. So I think that's one thing that's good too.
So meaning, I think writing a gratitude list of 5 small things that you're grateful for. You know, it doesn't have to be big things. It could be the sun rising. It can be your home. It can be a hot shower. Just things that you can say, okay, I'm very grateful today.
Yes.
And then, of course, we love the last one. At Christmas time, we all tend to overeat. But just prepare yourself a treat, you know, a nice meal or a treat, and enjoy. And then you could even invite someone over, maybe that neighbor next door that might be lonely.
Yes, absolutely.
And a great place to go if you are feeling lonely during the holidays is to nursing homes. There are so many elderly people that don't have family and support. They're kind of put there and forgotten.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
So I did that. I have done that through the years, but I found just a lot of reward by going room to room and just saying, hi, how are you today? Just want to let you know you're loved.
Yes.
You know, and just the smile and just for someone to see them. You know, recognize them. So that's a great place for connection.
Yeah, that
is. If someone that's starving for it.
Absolutely.
Really hungry.
I love that. I definitely love that. So, I kind of talked about the treats. We talked about everything. And then I think creating chosen family moments. That's one of those things that I think is really cool too. Like as you get older too, especially if you've gone through a lot of abuse and a lot of trauma as you're younger, you get to create your own life, you know, and that's something that I think is just so empowering of like, you know what, I used to live in that. I don't have to do that. Like I can create my own life. I can create what I want this to be.
You know, and it's so funny because you hear the term a lot. Friendsgiving. Like friends getting together and celebrating. And I love that. That's become very commonplace.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's one of the things of Friendsgiving, like a light Friendsgiving, something super simple and easy. It can be you guys order food in together. You guys make something together and just hang out and watch a show or something to create what you want life to be, you know?
So, and it's holidays, I think, our expectations. It doesn't have to be the big turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce and all the vegetables. It can be something as simple as making a homemade pizza.
Yes.
You know, just really simple to celebrate together.
Absolutely.
Take the stress off.
Absolutely. I so agree with that. Or praying. you know, praying, get a group of friends together and just pray together, have a worship night or a worship moment, or pray together and just kind of come together. That can be via FaceTime, that can be over text message, that can be in person, whatever you need to do. You get to create that moment.
And especially on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, there are always wonderful church services that you can attend.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Just go on their website ahead of time and figure out what time their services are and join them. And that's an opportunity to connect with someone there, because always have great greeters at church.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very gifted in that.
Right. And then we kind of talked about this previously, but again, where can you serve? Where can you help other people?
Exactly.
So if it's a homeless shelter, or if it's a nursing home, I really love that idea. Or wherever it may be, you have that opportunity to, you know, be a support and something for others.
You get out of yourself. I think you get out of your own pain when you're giving to others.
Yeah,
you take the focus off yourself.
Yep.
I love this scripture. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
Yes.
And that's Matthew 11:28.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through our last section, which is really talking about handling harmful comments. So we've got some role play here. So, and the first one, won't you be the relative?
Okay. All right. So, yay. I get to be the one.
The bad guy.
Exactly. Okay. So, Angela, you're still not over that?
Healing isn't a deadline. I'm taking good care of myself today. Smile and redirect.
Okay.
That's a good answer, isn't it?
That's really good. I really like that.
Oh my gosh, have I not heard that at a family function?
You're still not over that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, people think my ministry is because I'm not over it. I need to keep talking about it. Isn't that kind of distorted?
Yeah,
Very distorted?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll be the bad guy this time.
Okay.
Why are you being so quiet?
Because I'm just enjoying listening, and I'll jump in when I'm ready.
That's
super
a good one.
Simple. I know. I'm just enjoying listening. Yes.
Okay. You be the bad guy again.
Okay. You should forgive and forget.
Ooh, have we not heard that one?
Yeah.
I'm working on forgiveness with God and my counselor. Forgetting is not required to be faithful. I like that.
Absolutely.
All of these will shut them up pretty quick. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They'll move on to another conversation.
Absolutely. So,
if a comment lands like a dart, which a lot of do, we take it very personally. It hurts.
Yeah.
You know, when we don't get the compassion, the understanding, the safe space to really process what's happened to us, it can hurt. So when you're going through that, and I've done this myself, just place your hand on your heart, or even give yourself a hug and just say, I'm safe. I'm okay.
You're safe.
And I'm making the decisions that bring me peace. And don't, even if you need to excuse yourself, none of this is a sign of weakness. The SOS, you can prepare ahead of time too, to maybe text a friend, and you can have an SOS word. So if you type the word sunrise, you know, okay, she needs my prayer right now, or she needs my help, or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about just some affirmations, some breath prayers. Can you help us with that?
So something that we can do is just practice like a 90-second breathing technique that you breathe in what you want and you exhale what you don't want. So, you know, Jesus, you see me, and breathe that in, and then I'm not alone. You can exhale that, and Lord, be with me. You can breathe that in, and you can take out I am scared, or whatever it may be. So like that transfer of breathing things in and breathing things out will help significantly.
I like this one. Guard my heart.
Yes.
And guide my steps.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can be angry, you can be hurt, but the thing is, you don't want to sin in that. You don't want to go to their level.
Yeah.
And that's easy. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Honestly, when your buttons get pushed,
it's really hard to not be petty sometimes.
Yeah. I love this too. Just affirmations. I can choose peace without apology.
Yes.
My worth is not up for debate at any table. I'm allowed to leave early. I'm allowed to arrive late. I'm allowed not to go. And God delights to be with me here and now.
Yes.
So these are really good ones.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say that if you choose to go, make sure you're safe. If you don't feel like you're going to be safe, then don't go.
Don't go. Yes.
Yeah. And at any point that you feel unsafe, leave. because you don't deserve any more abuse ever.
And you can also choose not to take your family. If you're married with kids and you're going into an old environment that you grew up in, you don't have to take them there just because you don't have to do that. So
I said before my stepfather passed, who was my abuser, that my children would never, ever be around him, period. They would never. And he died before they were born. But I would never even risk that I would blink for a second and they would be touched. I just wasn't even going to take that risk. So
absolutely. So,
you got to be safe.
Yeah, you do.
So I hope this has helped. I know the holidays are hard. Yeah. They're hard for people who haven't gone through trauma. They're just a hard season.
Yeah, it is.
You know, because people go through divorce and they go through death and loss, and it's just a hard season sometimes. It can be joyful and exciting, but for some, and we just need to be sensitive to that and compassionate about that.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Yeah. I feel like that this is going to be an episode that you can take little bits and pieces with you over the holidays and tuck it into your pocket for when you need to bring it out. But thank you again so much for being here with us. We want to thank Mesmerize Media. We want to thank all of you for listening and supporting our podcast. And if you have any questions or concerns, or you just need somebody to reach out to, please make sure that you do email us here at voiceupforyou@gmail.com, if I can remember that. So
and just remember the reason for the season. We're celebrating the birth of our Jesus Christ, who is the Son of the world and who came to save us. And what a beautiful thing to celebrate. So we wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. And we thank you again for tuning in. I'm Angela Williams.
And I am Christa Marshall, and thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.